The Bible says, a just man falleth 7 times. I don't know why I thought it said more than 7 times. I don't know why I thought it said more than 7 times. I think I was getting it confused with, I don't know if this is a Mandela moment or what. I thought it said that a just man falls way more times than 7. But I know that Jesus wanted you to forgive like 77 times 7 or something crazy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Something that equated to like 490 times you ought to forgive. We'll get into that in a second. A just man falls 70. Uncle Andy was good, bro. Oh, we got Uncle Andy in the house. And to be honest with you, tonight's show is dedicated to Uncle Andy. Hand to God. If I didn't see Uncle Andy in like half an hour, I was just going to come up with some excuse to get out of here. Because I am very tired. But, oh man. Yo, 2026 is going to be such a great year because of the stuff that I'm studying. We got a lot of stuff, ground to cover. First off, we'll get back into that, what I was talking about in a second. Let me just address everybody, right? On the replay, whatever. Yeah, you don't have to listen to this show. This show is probably not for you, right? If you was looking at it, you was like, oh, I'm curious to what he's talking about. Don't be curious to what I'm talking about. Just keep it moving. You understand? I'm not doing this show for views. I'm not doing this show for you. You probably don't belong over here. You understand? I'm strictly doing this show for Uncle Andy. And critical thinkers. And if that is not you, which is probably not, then I would kindly ask you to keep moving. Go watch another show. Go click on another video. This is not the channel for you. Right? Not tonight, anyway. Not tonight. I know you're like, yo, just subscribe. Not tonight. Not tonight. Please, just, you understand? Just critical thinkers. Now that I gave my disclaimer, and I don't even know if that was enough, I promise you, because some people are still going to stay, and then they're going to get offended when I ask them nicely to leave. I asked you to leave. Yeah, soul to soul. Keep it pushing, player. Keep it pushing. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. I know that already. This is why I'm telling you to leave. Don't stay over here for 45 minutes, then you gonna get all in your feelings. Yo, bro, I did not tell you to step off from the door. Now, let me get back into the show, right? Because my wife just got me an energy drink. We got Uncle Andy in the building. Poker Face Society members is coming in. A just man. The Bible say, Proverbs 24, I think Proverbs 24:16, it say a just man falleth 7 times. Now, God knows I've been falling. But I really thought it said more than that. But why would it say that many times? Why do that even make sense? You know what I'm saying? A just man falls 7 times? You would think he would fall once, maybe twice. No. That's one of the most realistic, if any, verses I've heard. That's one of them. One of the realest verses in the Bible. Because it say you're just. Why do it say you're just? Because something in you say, let me try again. messed up fucker. Damn, you don't let everybody down. You don't let yourself down. You don't let Big Mama down. You understand? There's certain things on this planet that you may get yourself into, and it's hard to get out. It is hard. And then you try. And then you fail. The next verse says, but an evil man will fall into mischief. That means you tried or didn't try, right? Or you tried and you failed, and then you was like going with the wind. You just went and got crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier with no conscience that I'm even sorry. Yo, God, help me. Yo, I need help. Whatever the situation is, you just kept it pushing. I guess that's why it say that you're evil. Listen, my name is Jamel Saladin. This is no longer the Poker Face Society show, but it is the Poker Face Society fraternity. Don't get it twisted. We are Poker Face Society all day long. We are critical thinkers over here. Everyone's different. You understand? I didn't check all the badges. I don't know whose birthday it is all the time. I don't know and nobody's pronouns. You understand? I don't know. I don't know what you do when the lights go out. It's not really none of my business, though. You heard me. What I do know is I think critically. I like to talk about history. Usually that involves talking about religion. How can I talk about history if I'm not going to talk about religion? All the things they tell you, yo, don't talk about that at the dinner table. That's what I talk about on my show. So that's why the views over here, I'm not worried about the views, because as long as I have fun doing my show, that's all I ever care about, right? That's all I care about. I know how to get views. What's up from Ukraine? What up, though? I know how to get views. I'm just not a sellout. So they want me to talk about all type of different stuff, and I refuse to do it. Tonight we're going to talk about the word God. Tonight we're going to talk about Lucifer. Is he who you think he is? First of all, do you know who God is before we even get to Lucifer? Right? Look, Uncle Andy, they got up out of here. I got one person in here, and this is what I know already. This is why I don't be worried about it. This is why I did the show for you, Uncle Andy. As soon as I say Lucifer, oh no, get out of here. I told you to leave from the jump street. I told you I didn't want you in here. Crazy. This wasn't for you. I told him on the replay. It's some idiot watching right now that's offended that I said the word Lucifer. I'm like, oh no, let me get out of here. Yo, I told you to get out of here from Jump Street. I don't know what you were still doing here for you to even hear that part. Yeah, man. We're going to talk about how we're going to definitely get into that, right? The word God is only like 1,500 years old. And we need to get into that. Then I'm going to read a book because, like I said, I discovered some things. And as this information unravels itself to the people, you will eventually understand what has happened, right? But we have to go through history to find this. Now, it's wild. I don't know who I thought Lucifer was, but I'm finding out Lucifer is not who I thought Lucifer was. It's crazy. I wouldn't have figured this out without studying, but I also wouldn't have figured this out without the knowledge to do, like, the information, the resources. They were strategically and purposely hidden. So tonight, everybody always learns stuff when they watch my show. Because I usually go to the source of. I never just talk barbershop talk. That's not even my style. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that right now. Oh! Uncle Andy said, "You thought I said the word of God is only 1,500 years old?" No, sir. The word. I'm not that bold. I'm bold. And then again, it depends whose word of God you're really talking about, right? So if we are talking about, let's just keep it real. We talking about the Abrahamic religions. Judaism is only from like 1300 BC. Around the same time, Amenhotep IV, aka Akhenaten, got pushed out of Egypt by the cult of Amun. He was trying something new. He tried it. He tried it. They wasn't going for it. Got him right up out of there. Who got him up out of there? The wicked priest of Amun, because they had made so much money. You understand? You can't stop a cash cow like that and think it's gonna be all spiritual and we doing the right thing and all that. These people ain't. They wasn't. Listen, these people ain't here for it now in 2025. They not trying to hear all of that. You go to a clergyman and make it all about spirituality in today's time. Creflo Dollar said he was trying to get a new jet. He wasn't even trying to play games with y'all. You understand? Every other week, Pastor Winans is it Winans? Yeah. That was Winans. Winans, he's every other week he's on Instagram with something crazier going on than the week before. I'm like, yo, didn't you get out? You just got out of Instagram jail. Now you back on my Instagram telling the lady to get out of a line because she gave, how much did she give? She gave $1,200. And he was asking, full context, I'm going to be fair. He was telling the people, if you never been to a black church, let's just take it back a little bit. We do little things a little different over at the black church. Black church, the way they raise money, because they're not here to play games with you. This is what I'm trying to let you know. But we're going to get all into this. I might do a series, you understand? But you have to understand where religion even comes from. You have to understand the culture of religion in the priesthood and raising money and how that connects to money and politics and all that other stuff. It all connects. Do not be naive. So black people, this is why they got the organists and the keyboardists and the drumming and musicians. It's always a set of vibe, right? And you're not gonna find a sexier vibe. There's open mics and jazz houses, and then there's the church, baby. And they the same musicians. You understand? They the same musicians. As soon as they get out of church, they go over to the juke joint, and they over there. I know, because I left the church and then went to the juke joint with them. And they was, some of the best nights I had in New York City was at the Village Underground on Sunday nights. If you was there, you know. There's a guy named Ron. Well, he passed away. Shout out to Ron Grant. You can look up everything I'm telling you. There was a guy named Ron Grant. And there's a female, his co-host, called Melody McDaniels. I might even play a little bit of her singing tonight. It'll mess up my monetization. But I might. I don't know. Let's see how it go. And those are the best nights. One night, Ali from the Temptations was in there singing. Woo! I done seen everybody in there. I seen my cousin sing to Mariah Carey. Crazy. Don't get me started and get into nostalgic stories. Anyway, the church will tactfully and strategically raise money, right? So they say, yo, it depends what event it is. I have been at $1,000 lines, but this is what they're gonna do. Let me give you an example. They'll be like, I want everyone that and it could get bad. It could get really nasty, right? Because they could be like, yo, if you're looking for a blessing from the Lord and you got faith, I'm asking for the faithful. I'm gonna need those with $100 to stand in line. $100, right? And they're gonna wait for everybody to get in the $100. Now, pay attention. Focus. Do not disturb the Spirit of God. Do not disturb the Spirit of God. Let's focus. Let's be obedient. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Those with a $50. Now, I'm feeling someone over here. Don't be disobedient. He's looking dead at you, right? But he acting like he ain't looking at nobody. Don't be disobedient. Someone is telling me that they're fighting to give the $50. They're fighting to get. God is telling me someone is fighting. God is telling me someone in a blue suit with a red tie is fighting. Someone named Jermaine in a blue suit and a red tie, married to Keisha, is fighting. If this is, I don't know. But if this is you, please don't miss your blessing. Don't miss your blessing. All of this, it's a lot of theatrics. It's a lot of theatrics, bro. When you just really there because your mom dragged you out, or you there for the music. I'm not even here for this. I'm not. Or you looking for one of the joints to go home with at the end of all of this. You understand? But that's how the black church, they set up a good offering. And they'll go all the way down to $20, and then they say, all right, anybody else, whatever you it get disrespectful when they get to the anybody else. Anybody else, just come with what you got. Trinkets, good well wishes, just whatever you got. Dandruff, whatever you have, bring it. Your offering to the Lord. So I've watched this for years, and it's grotesque. I'm no longer part of a church or religion, but I've sat there for years and watched this. And Pastor Winans the other day, he was, in his defense, he did tell them, listen, this is a $2,000 line, right? Now, the people that giving $2,000, it's like when I give to the PAL. If I only give $5, they just send me like, yo, thanks a lot, right? But if I give like $100 to the PAL, I might get a badge in the mail, bro. The one of the little small joints. You understand? If I get $50, then I get the sticker to put in my window, which that's why I give it. So I can slap that joint in the back of my car, and then I don't get pulled over. Or I do get pulled over and I got one of them badges, you know what I'm saying? And they ask for your license and you act like you didn't know the badge was there. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay, let me get my license. So he was giving accolades to the people who gave $2,000. And he was trying to give her accolades. Then he found out, he looked at the check, he like, but this is a check for $1,200. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to get you the rest. He was like, yeah, but that's not what I asked for. Come on. I don't really think he was wrong, right? I don't think he was wrong. I don't think he was wrong because you already go to a church where they hustling you. You already know that, though. You understand? You go there for whatever reason you go there, and he's doing it for whatever reason he's doing it. It's an agreement. I went to a Baptist church one time only to use the advantages that I got, and it worked. I met some people from that was not in my network, right? They was of a stronger network. These are doctors and they was very successful people. I wouldn't call it the black boule. I wouldn't go that far, but they were all part of fraternities and sororities, I'm sure. Right? So when you join this church, they pair you up with somebody, and somebody paired up with me, and it just so happened, great guy, right? We are in still contact to this day. He got me my first IT manager job. Boom. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So sometimes you just gotta first know the game of life. You gotta know how this planet is set up. And it's set up, we're gonna be talking more about that tonight when we get into the show. It's set up in more complicated ways than you really think and know. But once you figure it out, I had to clean myself up. I told you guys, I was like I had wasted a lot of time in the streets, man. A lot of time in the streets. And it wasn't until one of my friends that came home from doing a bid, and we was out there. And I always tell the one story about us robbing. I got other stories, but I don't tell them because statutes, limitations, all that other stuff. So I just keep telling you the same one story about the club. But that one club had a lot of significance, right? There's a lot. And the reason it has significance is this. Somebody else, we had gave the gun to somebody, to the one gun. We have more than one gun, but that gun we gave to somebody to hold. And then when I was going down to do it, what I was going down there to do, they would not answer the phone. They just wouldn't. I don't know what they was doing that night. They would not answer the phone. So I said, I don't care. I'm going down there, and I got my knife. And it was really a pocket knife. It wasn't a Rambo knife or nothing. I was like, I'm just going to put it to his neck and tell him to give it up. And I was just on that type of timing. So he goes with me, this guy. And I really felt bad because this is not his thing. He's a drug dealer. He wasn't a stick-up kid. He wasn't a robber or nothing like that. So I'm like, I was kind of shaking. I was like, damn, I don't know if he should be here. And I know his family. I'm like, man, this could go either way. And that's the thing about crime. You got to know it could go either way when you walk out that house. I could come back with this, or I could not come back at all. I could go to jail. I could die. You just got to know that. So anyway, we go, and I told him a couple times, you don't have to go. He wants to go. He wants to get some of this money. Right? It was supposed to be a 6-figure deal, whatever like that. At least that's what we were told. And we get down there. Long story short, let me cut to the end of it. It wasn't Nextel involved. Trip. Yo. I said, I'm on that. Bah. Right? We working through the Nextel chirp. When I go to pull off, and I'm behind him, I get pulled over by a taxi. And obviously it's a D's because I'm not getting pulled over by this is not a civil arrest, you know what I'm saying? A civilian arrest. So they check me, you got any weapons on you? Nah, well, I do got a pocket knife. But that's it. And I'm literally dressed like the Hot Boys. Like, I got a handkerchief right here. Like, literally, I'm dressed like a hot boy from the Hot Boys, from Birdman. My tee is down to damn near my knees. I got on some baggy-ass Jabot jeans. I'm pretty sure I had a black and mild. I stayed with a black and mild at that time. So he don't believe. Neither one of us got a gun on us. He don't believe that though. He tear the car apart. My poor little Buick. I stayed in the Cutlasses, in the Buick Cutlass, 86, 87. I had an 85. I had all them joints. Buicks. Regal. Buick Regal. I had a Buick Cutlass. He tear the joint apart. And then he was like, so what you guys doing out here tonight? I said, I came to party. He said, at the club. He said the name of the club. I said, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's just funny because you guys never went in. I was like, huh? He's like, yeah, there's been a rash of robberies. He was like, it's been a rash of robberies down here. You know what I'm saying? So we just checking the joint out. You know what I'm saying? We watched you all night. You guys never went in. Yo, man, what you watching me for, man? When we left on the way home, he said, I'm done. But I was thinking the same thing. I was just like, yo, how many chances I'm going to get, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. One, we didn't have the gun. Like, we couldn't even get the gun. When that should have been a simple thing. Yo, we need that. Yo, come over to the crib and get it. So that should have been simple. And then two, if we would have had that gun, he had just came home from the feds. He was going away. And I would have been in Rikers and then sent up north, New York mandatory. At that time, it was a mandatory 3 with an additional year for every bullet. And then that would have been lights out, bro. Your whole life changed just like that. And it's not just like that because I was outside doing stupid shit. But the point is this: how long you gonna do stupid shit before I'm giving you a chance, right? If you don't see what I just did for you, bro, I don't know what else. But I said that he said, yo, I'm done. And was he done? Let me tell you something. He went. I ain't gonna tell you where, but he got a job with the city, with the government, and he's been there. And he's going to retire soon. And I love him, and I'm proud for that. Proud for that. He inspired me, even though I said I was done. Sometimes your boy be on bullshit. And but I really did want to leave. And I'm like, yo, I got to find something else to do. And I started changing my ways. First thing I did, because I seen what he did. He joined the this is what he did. He joined the political party. He went down to the Democratic Club and just started hanging out. That's what he did. He went down to the Democratic Club and started fucking hanging out. And then they liked him. And then they wanted him to run for district leader. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Your whole life is turning around. He's around different energy now. He's around different energy. I'm like, oh, shit. I tried that and went to the Library Association. It didn't work out like him, right? So I said, I need people with more prestige. And I looked at the Baptist church, the strongest Baptist church in my city. This Baptist church is so strong that when the pastor goes away, the assistant, you know who preaches for him when the pastor goes away? Reverend Al Sharpton. Hand to God. That is who takes over for him when he goes on vacation. Reverend Al Sharpton. So I said, that's where I need to be at. And I went over there with no interest in God at all, or anything they had to say. And I stayed there. And that's where me and my wife would have gotten married, but there was some complications there. It came to money. I'm going to be honest with you. It came down to money. They wanted all type of money for classes to. First of all, they said we couldn't get married unless we had the classes, which we already knew that. So we was like, all right, cool. But then the classes was. He had made a deal with me, and then I guess he didn't have that authority. So the prices went up. And I'm like, yo, I go here, bro. Now, this is what pissed me off. I had came up with an idea to teach a course on financial literacy for the youth. And they said no. This was his words. He said, that's not what we do here. We teach them to pay tithes. So once he said that, now, here's the thing. They had called me out to all type of events to talk and speak on the church's behalf. And I never said, yo, how much y'all paying me? I never said that. You're not God. You asked me to do something for you, I come and do it. I asked you to do something for me, or I'm trying to give back in a way that my heart is felt. But those two things there, between you trying to charge me to get married and you don't even want to teach the youth about finances, but you asking everybody for money. A lot of money too, Jack. I said, nah. I'm out of here. Well, that's my story on that. Now, I was talking to somebody recently, and you guys know of him and his family, but I'm not going to tell you who yet, because I'm going to do an interview with them, and everything will come out in the wash. But as I'm studying, I heard him say that the word God was a German word. So I get to studying, and I said, well, what does God mean anyway? What does God mean? People often ask me, you believe in God, right? And lately, I've been saying, which one? Like, which God? Do you? Maybe. I probably don't believe in your God, but maybe. But it got me to thinking. I said, what does God even mean? German word? Wait, how long has this been around? So, let's go there. And I'm going to use Grok. And the reason I'm using Grok tonight, and we're not using Grok for the whole show, so don't get crazy. I'm just using Grok for this particular exercise. All right, cool. Let's see here. Oh man, what's going on here? I gotta change this. That's not my scene. Hold up. Main display. Give me a second, you guys. Why is it like this? Vertical. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Do I got a vertical scenes? Vertical scenes. I need vertical scenes, bro. Oh, this is crazy. Why is that so big? Oh, okay. This belongs here. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I actually thought. Cool. Alright. Let's see here. Let's go. No, hold on one second. This is not even... Alright. Let's just start from the beginning. With you guys. What does the word God mean, and how long has the word existed? Now, I don't know what I'm gonna get, so we'll find out together. All right. The word God generally refers to the supreme being, deity, or ultimate reality in various religious, philosophical contexts, often associated with attributes like omnipotence. This word I always have a problem with, so I'm not gonna say it. It's Meaning varies across cultures and belief systems. For example, in monotheistic religions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, God denotes a singular, all-powerful creator. Okay. Etymology. The word God comes from Old English God, which itself derives from Proto-Germanic Guden. This term is linked to similar words in other German languages such as Old Norse, Guld, Old High God, Got, Gup. The Pro-Germanic root likely stems from the Proto-Indo-European Gutum, meaning that which is invoked. Okay, that is what I read before. Or to call upon, suggesting a connection to worship or invocation. The word God in its current form has existed in English since at least the 8th or 9th century, as seen in Anglo-Saxon texts. However, in Germanic roots trace back further, likely to the early century CE, and the Proto-European origins could extend to 4,000 BCE in Europe. I've never heard of that ever. I think Grok is capping. But different languages and cultures have their own terms. This is true. But I just asked you one thing. I don't know why you're giving me all this other stuff. But let's keep on reading, because it may help out where I'm going anyway. The concept of a deity or divine being predates the word God itself. Bro, he kind of going. I see words up here, so I see where he's going. But I just, did I not ask the right question? I didn't. How many years ago was the word God short answer, please. Now, before I push enter, let me read all of this other stuff that he had got down. He's got down there. The concept of a deity or divine being predates the word God itself, with evidence of religious beliefs in prehistoric times. Cave art. What are you talking about, cave art, bro? Y'all gotta stop. You gotta stop. You gotta stop with the cave art bullshit, bro. Cave art 30,000 years ago. What the fuck are you talking about? See, you got me using profanity already. The Sumerians got a king list that go back 200,000 years. What are you talking about? Who are you selling this to? Need I remind you, Grok, if the white man put you up to this, he has not been on this planet more than 10,000 years. So easy, Grok, with the propaganda. Easy with the propaganda. If he put you up to this, he has not been on this planet more than 10,000 years. Easy with the whole cave art nonsense. Cave art. Anyway, let's keep going. Cave art from 30,000 BC suggesting spiritual. Is that what the cave art suggested? Huh? Basquiat? That's what the cave art suggested. The spiritual practices? Okay. Other languages and cultures have used distant terms for similar concepts, like the Hebrew Elohim or Yahweh? Obviously, we're going to talk about Elohim and Yahweh tonight. I love a good show talking about Yahweh. 1200 BCE in written records. Well, like I said, I told you at the beginning of the show, Judaism is no older than 1300 BC. Or the Akkadian Ilu. The English word God is thus relatively recent development within a much older human tradition. I didn't ask you none of that shit though, blood. I don't know why you trying to lead my conversation, bro. I don't want what you buying. Let's push into on that. Whatever you buying, I ain't selling. I ain't buying. The English word God emerged around 8th and 9th century, so roughly 1200 to 1300 years ago. Thank you, bro. That's all I wanted to know. You yimmy yamming and all this and that. Hold up. Venezuela was good, bro. Where's my phone? Damn, Venezuela, I don't got my phone. I was going to say, call me on the link, bro. Call me on the Instagram. I ain't got my phone on me, Venezuela. Damn, son. It's Proto-Germanic root Guden, dates back around 2,000 years. They don't know, right? So my whole point is, it's relatively a new word. Relatively. And I guess it means the divine, right? And it says, hold on, let me just read that one more time. The word God refers to the supreme being. The supreme being. This is going to be fun tonight. The supreme being. If you're here to learn. Now, the question is, who's the supreme being? Most of you right away are going to say, well, Jesus Christ obviously is the supreme being. Jesus Christ's name, and I'm going to go back to Grok on this. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time before we even get to Grok. Before, you guys called him Jesus. People called him Yahushua, right? Yeshua, Yahushua. It is spelled different ways, whether you're looking at the Aramaic spelling or something else, right? The Hebraic name, but Yeshua, Yahushua. And I do believe when you translate his name, it's going to say something like Yahweh saves. We're going to go to Grok. I don't like to be called a liar. Yahweh saves. Let's do that first so it makes more sense. Let's do that first. I don't want to lose anybody. People think I'm up here hating on Jesus. And first of all, I'm not the one to hate on JC. Just to let you know, I'm a fan of JC. Truth is truth, though. Truth over lies, always. I'm a fan. But truth over lies. Now, let's do it like this. What was Jesus' name before the English translation? Or the English, I don't want to say translation, the English change. Let's see if he knows what I'm talking about. All right, he says Jesus' name before his angelicization was likely. What are you talking about, likely? Ah, Grok. Okay, Grok. You on that BS, Grok. Grok said likely. I'm there with you, though. I'm there with you. What you trying to say, Grok, that he didn't exist? Grok, you on some BS. Don't try to You understand? Don't try to offend these people. And that's Grok talking. I asked him one simple question. He gonna be like, yo, likely his name was, no, it was Yahshua, like I told you, or Yehoshua, like I told you. Common Jewish names in the 1st century CE. In Greek texts such as New Testament, his name was rendered, it looks like Jesus there. The English Jesus evolved from Jesus through Latin. I didn't ask you all of that, bro. Why you keep giving me information I never asked you? What is the meaning of Yeshua or Yehoshua? The name Yahshua is, and its longer Yeshua or Hebrew names meaning salvation, or Yahweh is salvation. Told you. Yahweh saves. Yahweh salvation. Look, it says it. The root Yahshua means to save, to deliver. And prefix Yeo or Yah refers to Yahweh, the Hebrew name for God. Thus, the name signifies divine deliverance or God as a source of salvation. So, they said it was a common name. I don't know if they telling the truth. They could be telling the truth. It was a common name. Here's my thing. Yahweh's a farce. So I have a hard time let's put it like this. I definitely have a hard time believing the exact story they tell me about this Jesus character, since I know Yahweh is a farce. And if his name means, but you listen, but why would you be God and you choose your name, your parents, like you're God, right? And you can't choose who your parents are. And then your parents name you Yahshua. You don't. Maybe you do know that your name is about to be Yahshua. I don't know. You don't change it. You don't name me that. That guy's made up. And he is. Out of nowhere. But you can look for yourself. His name it wasn't present before the Judaic. I couldn't help but to have so many questions, right? I'm raised in the religion all my life. I'm like, this seems crazy. Like all of this, the communion, the drinking of the wine that's supposed to be symbolic for blood, the eating of the flesh, like this don't seem right, bro. Why do I have to go through a middleman again? Because the only way to the Father is the Son? Well, first, like I said, all right. I wasn't going there, but I guess I'm going there now. I'm trying to get to the book that we were supposed to read tonight, but the Most High is leading me somewhere else. So let's go. And I know you confused right now. You like, the Most High? You talking shit about him. I am not talking shit about the Most High. Let's stop that rumor right now. Yahweh is not the Most High. Let's stop. Your Bible don't even say. Your book don't even say that Yahweh is the Most High. Let's stop that right now. Anyway, we'll get to the Most High in a second, but the Most High is leading me somewhere else, so I'm going to be obedient to the Spirit. And I say, What verse did Jacob wrestle the angel? Genesis 32. All right, let's do this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Do hit the like button while you're here. You don't have to subscribe because you don't know if this channel is for you, right? So I'm not asking you to subscribe. We do critical thinking over here. It may not be for you. You may just be comfortable with the blue pill. This is some red pill shit. And this is why I usually tell people to get up out of here. Get, scat. Okay. Genesis 32, 24. Oh, I don't even know. Can I use these reading glasses? Oh, look at that. God. Damn, these shits work. Okay. What am I looking for? 32:24. And he took them. Wait. Easy, nut star. And he rose up at the night. Let's go back a little bit. So went the present over before him, and himself lodged that night in the company. And he rose up that night and took his 2 wives. What? And his 2 women servants. Well, damn, Playboy. You wasn't playing no games, was you? My man had 2 wives and 2 concubines. You're wildin'. I feel you, though. And his 11 sons. Yeah, well, obviously. And passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook, and sent them over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him unto the breaking of the day. I don't know why they got into this fight. I've read this verse so many times throughout the years, trying to figure out, why are you guys fucking fighting, bro? Jacob, what'd you do? What'd you do? And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him to the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. And he wrestled with him, and he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. So apparently Jacob attacked this man? Am I reading this right? I don't know who initiated what. All I know is Jacob got into this shit. You understand? Jacob could have been minding his business, which I doubt. He sent his family away for a reason. Right? He sent his concubines. So Jacob was obviously on some bullshit from the get-go. You understand? He was, I don't know what. Maybe he seen him a couple of camps back. Seen him flossing something nice. Oh, I seen something with the. Son had the emerald joint, all the beads and all that. He's on some bullshit. At one time, I was on that stupid shit too. Right? Yeah, just go ahead. I seen son. I got to get that. He's trying to yap somebody. And it says, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him till the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. And he said unto him, why? He said, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men has prevailed. So, I don't know. Jacob might have been a good wrestler. You understand? He's out here bullying angels on some stupid shit. I don't know. I don't know. He definitely folded, bro. The angel folded. And they don't do that a lot in this story, in this book, right? Because let me tell you something. Them angels at Sodom and Gomorrah, they wasn't having none of that shit. Yeah. Huh? Them angels at Sodom wasn't having none of that funny shit. Lot, on the other hand, Lot was on some bullshit. That was a weak link. He was on some bullshit. Lot was on some bullshit. He was trying to give up his virgin daughter to these homosexuals. He was out of the loop. He was way out the loop. Nobody wants your horny, fish-smelling daughters. Get them out of here. They wanted the badussy. They wanted man glutes. Lot was on some bullshit and them angels wasn't having it. Burnt that whole shit down. Play around if you want, sodomites. Huh? There'll be none of that frisky business over here. None of that. Fire for true fire for that. True fire for that. And this is the verse, people, where you get the Israelites. This is the start of Israel. Because Jacob, this is where he turns to Israel. Do some fucking crazy, I don't know if these are prison games that just came outside, and I don't know what type of shenanigans and tomfoolery went on here. It was a wrestling match, and one guy's out of breath. He's touching his thighs, and next thing yo, just let me go, man. I won't let you go until you bless me. Crazy. Do strangers have that authority to just change your fucking name? Who are you, bro? Who are you? That's a question as I drink my drink, huh? Let me look at the chat. Do strangers have the ability to just go around changing fucking names, bro? Let me check in with the chat. What we looking like down here? The cushion? That's what I've been waiting for. Mandingo Man, why I go on you? We got Mandingo Man in the building. You understand? We got Kush in the house. Shout out to the West Coast. We got the Bay in the house. God, yes, Mayagog. What's up? I am God, yes, aka Yeshua, Jesus Christ. This is my second coming. Okay. Yahweh was a false god. Yes, he was. Yes. It's all from dusty old books. That's why I'm here. Okay. Well, guess what? Magog, you can subscribe to the channel, Magog. I give you permission to subscribe to the channel. Right? Magog has some critical thinking. He can subscribe. Don't nobody else subscribe to I give you permission, please, because you may not like this channel. We do critical thinking over here. I'm going to say some shit that is going to hurt your feelings. I'm going to teach some things that's definitely going to hurt your feelings. And let me tell you your first response. It's called cognitive dissonance. You're going to be like, no, why you lying for? Yo, let me tell you something. The devil will use you. You understand? To confuse you. No, let me tell you something before you even get into your stupid rant. One, you don't know who your God is. I know who your God is. You don't know who your God is or who my God is, right? But never mind my God. You don't know who your God. We're here to discuss your God, not my God. Your God. And I assure you, If you're sitting in any of those places, you don't know who your God is. And if you don't know who your God is, you don't know who the devil is. You have no idea who the devil is because you don't know who your God is. Now, if you did mention your God and it was the right God, then I say, oh, damn, you know something. Then I let you talk to me about the devil. You don't get the chance to talk to me about. I will teach you about the devil tonight. And in so teaching you about the devil, you will learn your God. That's what's going to happen tonight. That's what's going to happen tonight. However, let's get into some more teaching tonight. Let's go back to Grok. Okay. Now we're talking about Jacob. Let me ask you a question. Did Jacob try to fool someone in his story? And if so, who did he try to fool? Oh, this is starting off crazy. Oh, what the hell? What's my drink? Here's my drink. Too many red cups. Well, sadly to say, Grok said yes. Jacob was out here on some bullshit. But before you get too disappointed, what did you expect with a man that is out here wrestling with strangers and accepting his gift of renaming him, right? First of all, who is you to rename me? Second of all, who is you to accept that name and run around the earth proud as shit? What's going on here? What's going on? I could never just go to the gas station, get into it with some dude overstepping on my $100 Nikes, right? We out there getting it on till we both get tired. He like, yo, what's your name, bro? I'm like, Saladin. He like, nah, fuck that. Your name is now Marigo. For you fight with power. Your name is now Marigo. May God be with you. Nigga, first of all, you smoke dust. That's number one. First, let's start there. You off boat. You off that wet. I'm not listening to you, nigga. Just watch where you going next time. Simple and plain. Don't be trying to give me fucking accolades while you high off dust, PCP and all that, bro. Fuck is you talking about? My name is now what? Shut up. Shut up. Now, let's get into this. Cause Jacob was out here on some bullshit, but this is the guy who started all this stupid shit. Jesus Christ. Yes, Jacob did attempt to deceive someone in his story. In Genesis 27, Jacob, with the help of his mother, Rebekah, deceived his father, Isaac, to receive the blessing intended for his older brother Esau. Word. Denzel Washington laughing. My nigga. Think you could pull this on me? Huh? You've been planning this all week. Son, I've been planning this all day. You guys are, first of all, your first mistake was listening to a great fucking deceiver. Let's just start there. Never mind him wrestling with strangers. Let's start with the fact that the patriarch of your religion, all your religions, right? Muslims, don't try to get out of this right now. You like, yo, we believe in Allah. Easy. Your religion is based off the Abrahamic religions. I didn't even get to Abraham yet. If you notice, I just got to Jacob. Christians, you know your goose is cooked. You already know your goose is cooked. So you just sit there and you in enough hot water with the fucking silly ass communions of the drinking of the blood and all this silly. You just sit right there and wait your turn. Easy. Let's just deal with the fact that the Israelites, the father of the Israelites, is a fucking deceiver. Can we just start there? Bro, if you started off deceiving people with your moms for your blessing, it's not even your blessing, man. It's Esau's blessing. What make you think they stopped deceiving? What make you think they stopped deceiving? They didn't stop deceiving. Shit started off with a lie. And it's going to end with a... Started off with a lie, but it's going to end with the goddamn truth tonight on my show. You heard me. Grok says, here's a brief summary of the event. Isaac, who was old and nearly blind, intended to give his blessing to Esau, his firstborn son. Rebekah overheard Isaac's plan and encouraged Jacob to impersonate Esau. Sounds like some shit Jacob is into. Jacob is into. Jacob dressed in Esau's clothes, covered his skins with goat hair. You're going too far, beloved. To mimic Esau's hairiness, and brought food to Isaac, claiming to be Esau. Isaac, misled by Jacob's deception, gave Jacob the blessing meant for Esau, granting him prosperity and authority over his brothers. Grok goes on to say this act of deception caused significant conflict. Yeah. To this day, Grok. To this day. Right? Now let me give you the real deal. That whole religion is a farce too. And they don't know their gods either. Right? There's no any my man always talking about yo Hebrew this and Hebrew that and I'm like, yo, bro, first of all, what is a Hebrew? That's number one. You can't tell me what a Hebrew is. So I recently found out, because I've been asking everybody, what makes a Hebrew a Hebrew? And you know why I was asking that? I was always asking that because Jacob's grandfather, Abraham, he was from Ur of the Chaldees, right? So when we talk about national ID, there has to be like a nation, not a group, not like some made up. You have to be a nation. Just because you got a large family, that don't make you a nation. That just make you niggas crazy for having all these goddamn youths and kids. And yeah, it make you dangerous too. I ain't gonna lie. Nobody wanna fuck with y'all. Y'all come out to rumble. Y'all come out to rumble. Y'all gonna stomp a mud hole in somebody's face. But it don't make you a nation. And I said, you can't just cross the line and then call yourself Hebrew because you crossed the line, because you crossed the border, because you came from Ur of the Chaldees to the Levant, to a new land. That's not how that even works. Apparently, it is how it works, because that is what Hebrew means. Let's see if Grok could tell us. What is the meaning of Hebrew? Let's see if he'll tell us. It told us. Here we go. It's always telling me too much. I gotta start asking for the short answer, because I didn't ask all of this. But let's go. The word Hebrew, pronounced Irvi. Oh, and that's the other thing. There was no Hebrew in the Hebrew Bible because the Greeks translated it and it was called Irvi, right? Has several layers of meaning rooted in linguistic, cultural, and biblical context. Etymological meaning, the term Hebrew likely derives from the Hebrew root avar, meaning to cross over or to pass through. So, there we have it. I said, yo, you can't just cross a border and start calling yourself Hebrews. Apparently, I'm getting a late memo because that's exactly what these people tried to pull off. However, I don't believe this story at all. I think this story was a farce and made up by who? By Amenhotep IV, a.k.a. Akhenaten. Amenhotep IV, a.k.a. Akhenaten. Why? Because he was out here trying to start a new religion. A monotheistic religion. And it didn't go well. I don't know how he thought it was going to go, given that the priesthood had a strong hold on society with the cult of Amun. And to be exact, they had joined the god Amun with the god Ra. So this is where you get Amun Ra. Amun Ra. This is also why you end your prayers with Amen today. Amen today. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about just the whole start of something that people say they believe in. And if you don't slow everything down, and I get it, most people don't want to slow it down because once it starts making sense, baby, it's going to get cold. You're going to be out here fucking knees showing and goosebumps on the legs in 30-degree weather. Because that's how cold it's going to get, because you're going to realize, wait, what the fuck I've been following? These people have been jerking my chain. Oh, they've been jerking your chain and his chain and everybody else's. Don't feel bad at all. And I go slow because it is traumatic for people. Once you start making sense, it can get traumatic because you're like, damn. I was duped. What do I do with all those years I spent in the mosque, the church? And granted, I'm not trying to take nobody's religion away. And I'm not trying to take your God away. I'm just telling you, you probably don't know who your God is. Because the names of the gods were changed from civilization to civilization, but they were like the same person. but then they would change like the name, but the stories would stay the same. Right? So you got one, and people usually say you got one common denominator, but I'm going to flip that and I'm going to say you got one common not the bottom number. What's the top number? If the denominator is on the bottom. But in my example, the top stays the same. It's the stuff at the bottom that changes. But that's my example. That's how I look at things. Let's use yours. Common denominator. That number that stays the same, that name that stays the same. How do you get that? Well, we have to reduce it. How do you reduce this situation? When you talk about reduce, this ain't even mathematical. Everything is mathematical. That's number one. Number two, you got to go back further. This is why I got some associates that are Moors, good associates. They get upset because they try to tell me, oh, we Moors, brother. What? What do you mean we Moors? That shit sound cute, right? Calling yourself a Moor in 2025. I'm a respectfully say knock it off, man. Respectfully. Shout out to all the Moors. Respectfully. Some medieval shit. Why would I stop at the middle of the story? The Moors are the middle of the story. I can give you two terminologies that you would call black man that outdates the Moors crazy. And that's Nubian and that's Ethiopian. Let's keep it 1,000. The reason you like to stay in that whole pocket there is because that's the part of history you took most pride in, knowing that, hey, we went to Europe and we civilized them. So that make us kings. That don't make you a goddamn thing, right? You need to study. There's so much more to learn. I won't even learn all of what I need to know. I want to learn before I am snatched off this earth, only to be recycled probably 70 years later back down to this forsaken place. Because energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transferred. So what is the common denominator? Well, you have to go back. So if Yahweh didn't exist to 1300, well, first of all, let's get into Amun-Ra. No, not Amun-Ra. Amenhotep, sorry. There are stories out there that say Amenhotep the fourth was killed. Whether this is true or whether this is false, let's use Grok right now. Now, Grok already told me up here somewhere around what year Judaism kind of started, right? It said it right here. It said other languages and cultures have used distinct terms for similar concepts like Hebrew, Elohim, or Yahweh, 1200 BC in written records. So that's 1200. I gave it an extra year because really it's 1300. But if Grok wants to say it's 1200 BCE, fine. Right? But I'm going to say 13. Most scholars will say somewhere around 13. Here's the problem with Judaism starting in the 1300s BCE. Watch this. What year was Amenhotep the Fourth pushed out of power? Now, it's not going to know the year. It's going to say somewhere between 1320 and 1336. So let me say this. Around what time? Around what time was Amenhotep the Fourth pushed out of power? Bow. See what we get here. Yep, around 1336 BC, Amenhotep IV, later known as Akhenaten, ruled for approximately 1353 BC until his death in 1336. They say he died. I don't think he died, but that's neither here nor there. After which his successors, including Tutankhamun, began dismantling his religious reforms and restoring traditional practices. His reign ended due to his natural death rather than a forced removal from power. Okay. Now, follow me. Follow me, follow me, follow me. He's kicked out of power. He has to go somewhere. He can't stay there. I'm going to show you where he went in a second. And then all of a sudden, Hebrew pops up? No, Judaism, as we know it today. But who are the Hebrews? This whole elaborate story comes out of nowhere with a God. God's name is Yahweh. Before that, Yahweh did not exist. But he did in another name. But it wasn't monotheistic. He would have been a God to you. You understand? The guy they're talking about, he was more powerful than you and me. But before we get to his name, follow me. This is why I told some of y'all, don't come over here. Uncle Andy was here when I told everybody, yo, I don't want nobody else over here tonight. Like, this show ain't for you. And I always try to tell people, this show ain't for you, bro. This show ain't for you. Go. It's Friday night. You could go watch shows. Go do something else. Because I don't want to start making sense and change your life. I'm dead ass serious. Any religious person over here trying to be nosy, please call your pastor and just apologize. Tell him you was on some bullshit. Yo, I was watching things I shouldn't have been watching. If you could just say a prayer for me. Because you stay over here too long, I'm going to start to make sense. And that's what I fear. Now, first of all, let's check the chat. Let's check in with the chat. Let's check in with the chat. Give some goddamn shout outs, too. Corey Madison was good, man. Got my boy Corey Madison in the building. Huh? Y'all got nothing other. We got 14 goddamn people in the house tonight. Y'all got nothing to do, huh? Y'all here. Alright, fuck it. Let me get comfortable. Shit, we got some people in the house tonight, Jack. Shit. Huh? They want to know what's up. Okay. Let's go then. Oh no. Ja has always been there. Matt. It depends who you think Ja. Let me ask you, Matt, who you think Ja is? Ja Rastafari. Who do you think Ja? It doesn't matter. I'm just going based off history, right? I can't tell people who their God is. You could tell me, yo, my God, my God is Carl up the block. And I'm like, Carl up the block? That be smoking what? Yeah, that's my God. What I'm gonna say? I can't tell you that Carl from up the block that be smoking wet ain't your God, huh? All I could teach you is the history of Carl, right? I could teach you what Carl did before he got here and all that. Yeah, right. Well, I agree with you there. So we're going to get into, I want to get into not our personal, understand me. This is why I say, this ain't to offend people. I'm not getting into the personal, whoever you think God is. I'm going off of who the institutions say they was, which led to your belief. Most of us believe in our God because we was led to believe. I'm not talking about your personal, because we all have a personal relationship with someone or something that we consider God. Even if we don't believe in him, that's our relationship. I don't believe in you, nigga. Whatever it is. But for the people that do believe, you more than likely came to that conclusion with the information was given. My show is about the information that was given, not about, I can't tell you. You understand? If somebody told you, yo, this was God, and then you find it like Jesus, how much did you know about Jesus? A lot of y'all don't know enough, and then when y'all find out about him, listen, do what you want after I say after I teach what I teach. That's all. I don't got nothing to convert people to. Promise you. Now, let's do this. Akhenaten, aka Amenhotep IV. He gets pushed out of power by the priest of Amun-Ra, the cult of Amun. They had been making too much money and they was way too powerful. I don't know how he thought that was going to work without getting. He lucky he didn't lose his life right then and there. He has to leave. Now I'm going to teach you something. He built a city called Armana. This is powerful. And it's powerful because I just thought of Dr. York, Z. York, Malachi Z. York, and how he built that city down in Georgia. And he was getting here too. And there's a crazy story behind that, and we'll probably go over that this week. But nonetheless, Akhenaten had did the same thing. It was called Armana. And there was a city named Canaan that pledged their allegiance, and they love Amenhotep IV, Akhenaten. Now, never mind what I say. I would love for you to look this up yourself, but I know you a lazy ass and you're not going to do it, and this is why you're watching me, right? I got Grok here. This is the first time I'm asking Grok these questions. I just started using Grok. I was using ChatGPT, but don't get it twisted. I also study a lot, read books I've read over the years. I still read. Just in case you think I'm out here on bullshit time and I'm just talking out the ass. I don't want you to think I'm some ChatGPT ass nigga. You understand what I'm saying? So if I tell you Yahweh wasn't around before a certain time, I'm looking at the seals. I'm looking at the history. I'm not going off of something sentimental, or I don't, sometimes there's cop out people, don't trust man will deceive you. Alright, so at least I got evidence. What is if you would say something different from what I'm saying, you gotta bring something to the table. To say, but this, that, and the third, right? Don't tell me the devil is deceiving me and the man is deceiving me. No. Nobody's deceiving me, bro. Nobody's deceiving. Got the history, blood. Right? Nobody's deceiving me. I got so many different sources that say the same thing. And that is stacking up better. Even between, not just the mainstream sources, the esoteric, all of it. The hidden, the forbidden, all of it is adding up. So sometimes you got to, like Rene Descartes said, it's hard because when your identity is tied to these religions and everything like that, it's hard to consider you was lied to. I promise you was lied to. That is not a question. You was lied to. But let's get into this. Amenhotep has to go somewhere. He has to get out of where he's at. So I'm going to ask Grok, did Akhenaten have a relationship with Canaan? Yes, Akhenaten, who ruled Egypt from approximately 1353 to 1336, had a significant relationship with Canaan, as it was under Egyptian influence during its reign. Canaan encompasses modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, for those that you didn't know, and parts of Syria and Jordan, was a key area with Egypt's sphere of control during the New Kingdom period, particularly the 18th dynasty. Key aspect of Akhenaten's relationship with Canaan. Canaan was a collection of cities, states, that paid tribute to Egypt as established during the reigns of the earlier pharaohs like Thutmose III. I think Thutmose III, and I can check here, but I do think Thutmose III was Akhenaten's grandfather. He was the one who inspired Amenhotep IV he put these ideas in his head. And it's a whole bigger story that's bigger than just some monotheistic religion that he created. There was a whole... So what Thutmose III did was he initiated the fraternalization, if that is a word, and it's probably not. But he fraternalized the isolated mystery schools. And he called it the I believe he called it the Great White Brotherhood. Had nothing to do with racist skin and Ku Klux Klan. Get all that out your business. Like, yeah. It had to do with the brilliance of light. Of illumination. And by the way, Nikola Tesla rediscovered the use of electricity in the illumination of light. But these people had already figured that out. We'll get into that later. Another video. However, what I want to talk about is in this second paragraph right there. Second paragraph says the Amarna letters, a collection of diplomatic correspondence found of Akhenaten's capital. Akhenaten, modern day Armana, provided direct evidence of his interactions with the Canaanite rulers. These clay tablets, written in Akkadian, include letters from the vassal kings in cities like Jerusalem, Shechem, Gezer, Megiddo, requesting military aid, reporting local conflicts, and affirming loyalty. And I say again, affirming loyalty. All right. Now let's get to something down here that I want to look at. The Amarna letters reveal that Akhenaten's reign saw increasing instability in Canaan. Some vassal rulers like Abdi Heba of Jerusalem complained about raids by groups such as the who? Habaru. It's fucking crazy, bro. This, and mind you, I'm just reading. I'm doing this shit off the fly with you guys. It's not like I did this before. I'm just doing this shit off the fly right now. Anyway, Canaan is crying, right? In these letters, and it says they complained about raids by groups such as the Habaru, possibly nomadic or rebellious groups sometimes linked to early Hebrews. Hello. Habaru, Hebrew, Habaru, Hebrew. Though this is debated in rival states. Whatever. Believe it, don't believe it. Coincidence? Is there a coincidence that there was a group of people that phonetically sounds like Hebrew? They sound very similar. And this group of people was out here putting up pressure on the Canaanites. Now, the only reason I didn't ask Rock none of this shit. It just goes off on a tangent, right? But in this particular case, it gave me some good stuff, but I didn't need to know all of that. Now, reason I brought this up is because when and I've read these letters, and they go into detail, and they out here, they did everything in these letters except give Amenhotep a blowjob in a hand job. You understand? They was out here giving him praise. So it makes sense if he gotta leave. You're gonna go to a place where everybody knows your name. They cheers. They happy you here. You understand? You're not in power no more, but they don't know that yet. They don't know that yet. They're going to find out eventually when you show up with, you understand? So my theory is what? My theory is that he went to Canaan. He went over there. You don't have a military. The Habaru people is running down on you. They was running down on your people before you got there. What you about to do, bro? Now that you showed up, what you about to do? You about to make amends with these people. That's what you're about to do. And devise some type of diabolical scheme. That's what I think happened. When you look at the story of the Hebrews, their God comes from the Egyptian mountains. So is it a coincidence that the same time he's kicked out of Egypt is the same time that fucking the Hebrews arrive out of nowhere with a strong religion and a new God named Yahweh? Now, even with that delightful story, that doesn't explain who Yahweh is. Even with that good information, right? That was helpful, Jamel, but I still don't know who you said you was. It was the same God. They just kept on changing his name. He is the same God. They just kept on changing his name. Now, this would be very sensitive to some people. Now, even though the Dread is my man, what I'm going to do? Not get up here. I'm going to get up here and not tell the truth because the Dread is my man? Nah, the Dread is my man. But, shit, I'm telling the truth on my mother's gods too. You understand? I still love her. So, obviously, I still love the Dread. I still love everybody. Truth is truth, though. Truth is truth. Who was Jah before? See, we could sing these songs and then we got these we got our own concept of God. And again, who could tell you about your God? You can't be like, yo, God got me out of it. God got you, whatever, bro. You testify. You understand? What I'm saying is, though, this. These names change. What was the original name? Because there was no Yahweh, which means there was no Jah Rastafari, which means there was no Jehovah. None of it. None of it. Before a certain time period. So who the hell was y'all worshiping before 1300 BCE? Are you not even a little bit curious of who they was worshiping before 1300 BCE? He goes to Canaan. What gods are already in Canaan? Obviously, they added Yahweh to the pantheon. The Canaanites had their own pantheon that did not include, and I repeat, did not include Yahweh. But let's ask Grok. Did the original Canaanite pantheon include Yahweh? Come on, man. You gotta start giving me the short answer, bro. You be on bullshit time, Grok. What are you doing? The question of whether Yahweh was part of the original Canaanite pantheon is complex. It's not, though, bro. Anytime I ask you a question, you usually say yes. What are you talking about? And debated amongst scholars. I'm not a mainstream scholar, bro. I'm nothing like these fucking jack-offs. As it involves piecing together archaeological... Knock it off, man. Here's a concise answer based on current understanding. Yahweh is not explicitly attested as a deity in the earliest known pantheon. That's all I asked you, bro. Fuck is all this other bullet points and all this silly shit. The people just want to know, am what I saying, am I telling the truth? Huh? That's all they want to know. Is Saladin up here mumble rapping? What's going on? Is he telling the truth? He's selling wolf tickets? What is going on? Nah, party people. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that to you. This is why I tell most people, don't even come over here. Because this thing... Don't even come to my show when I'm talking about this, right? Wait till I'm talking about some bullshit. Wait till I'm talking about some ghetto bullshit. Then come over here, hop in the chat and all that. Yo, Saladin was good. That's when it's better for you. With this shit, it's only going to end one way. Hand to God. It's only... Yo. It's only going to end one way. And you're not going to like that way. So, easy. Easy. What happened, baby?
Nothing.
What time is it? You going to bed? She's not feeling good. All right. Let's read what we got here. The Ugaritic text discovered at Ras Shamra, (13th to 14th century BCE) described a pantheon led by El, the high god. You heard? With deities like Baal, Asherah, Nat, Mot, Yam. No clear reference to Yahweh appears in these texts, and it wouldn't, because he is a farce. However, he is not at the same time, because so here's the thing. The word El has always, the letter L, and really not the letter, but there's two letters that have mostly always been associated with the divine, the supreme being. There's two letters that has mostly been associated with the supreme being. And it's more or less the sound, not the letter. But I'm going to say letter in this case because it's easier for us to understand. So the first sound is L. Literally L. That's the sound. And the second sound is breath. So when you look at the two consonants of L and H, that consonant group is mostly associated with the divine being. That consonant group right there. And that's for a reason too. L and H. Let's take a break. Let's look at the chat. See what's going on down there. If I ask, remind me where I'm at, just say L and H. Huh? We got Boondocks in the house. Pop-up God. Yeah. Yahweh was a pop-up God. But we'll get to who he was in a second. Yahweh or Jehovah aren't names. It's a verb. Christians can give a proper name. You have to ask Grok or other AI to not include into the Christian. Yeah, they do that. They do that, Boondocks. They do that. I don't like it. This is why I be wanting the short answer, bro. And I'm just using Grok right now so that I can show the people in real time. So they could do it themselves, you know what I'm saying? But they trust me, I know what you're saying, and they do it all the time. I will correct Grok in ChatGPT all the time because they think I'm stupid. So they'll give me an answer, and I'm like, yeah, but what about this, that, and the third? And then they'll be like, oh, you're right to bring that up. First of all, my man, of course I'm right to bring that. What are you talking to? I'm not asking you because I don't know the answer. I'm just asking you because I like shit to stay fresh in my mind. So I'll just hop on and start asking shit I already know the answer to. Boom, boom, boom. Just like you go to the karate gym and you working out on moves that you already know, but the more you do the moves, the sharper you gonna get. There's a lot of there is a lot of fucking information. So it's like if I don't continue to keep asking myself and teaching myself this shit over and over again, I will lose it. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's like, nah, stay sharp. And matter of fact, forget staying sharp. Get better. Get better. I want to be like a Shaolin monk with this information. All right. Shaolin, we here. We got 11 people. What time we looking like? All right. Damn, we might not even get to what I really wanted to get to, which was we still going to get to the God and Lucifer. We still going to do that. But I really wanted to get into some of the Luciferian conspiracies. But it don't look like I'm going to have time to get into the Luciferian conspiracies tonight because I had to give such a prologue, extended prologue. But GHL says, quick question, what concept in life you still don't understand? None of it, GHL, like please give me some enlightenment, GHL. Yo, TNT bomb, salute though. Salute. You already know, Boondocks. We here, baby. We here. Word up. Alright, cool. Now, let's get back into this. And because I'm talking about something, obviously I'm doing this to free other people from bondage. It's not like I'm just not talking to talk. I don't like doing that. That's crazy. All right. So I think we left off at let's see what we did speak about thus far. Because I went down a lot with you guys, and I showed actual proof of certain things. We spoke about Amenhotep IV. That right there, and if it's my if it's my theory or hypothesis, I will say it is my hypothesis that Amenhotep the Fourth ran to Canaan. I don't have any proof of that. I don't. Right? It only makes sense to me because he couldn't stay in where he was at. He had to get up out of there, and just the same time period is crazy for you to have been kicked out and then all of a sudden another religion pop up with a new God named Yahweh. Is nuts. Nonetheless, we find out that when he gets over there, there's more or less, there is no Yahweh. And again, I'm saying when he gets over there, that's my assumption. I don't know if Amenhotep really got over there, right? Suppose Amenhotep was on his way there and died on the way because he really never walked that much in his life before on some bullshit ass Jesus sandals 11s. You understand? He got the Jesus sandal 11s on. He ain't never walked this far. Remember, these is not good times. You understand? That whole story about Moses, suppose that's really Amenhotep the Fourth, that had to leave Egypt, and he once was a king. He once was royalty, but now he has to leave. And first of all, the story of Moses, that's King Sargon's story. Yeah, that's King Sargon's story. Let's get into that. Shout out to Zip. Why am I saying Zip do got everybody saying let's get into that though. You can't front. He did. Alright, so let's get into does the Moses story have the same similarities as King Sargon story? Short answer. Short answer, bro. None of this. Yes, thank you. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Nobody got time for you to all of this BS. Simple answer is yes. Yes, the Moses story shares similarities with the Sargon of Akkad birth legend. Both involve a baby placed in a basket on a river to escape danger, discovered and raised by others, and later becoming a significant leader. The Sargon legend, 2300 BCE, approximately 1,000 years before the invention of Judaism. Sterling Welch comes in, throwing the spiral missile out of nowhere. Sterling Welch joins the program tonight and says Jesus wasn't added to Christianity till 600 AD. Hold on. Let me work something in my mind. I don't know, Sterling. I might have to disagree. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to disagree right now. Because the Paul letters were not written in 50 CE. That's bullshit. I'm going to tell you that right now. Right? And I know Sterling knows this. Let's just take a sidebar so we know where we're at. We'll get back to this in a second. The Paul letters were not written, and don't ever listen to these people tell you some bullshit about. First of all, let's get to this. don't listen to any apologists. Don't listen to the confidence in their voice. You see how Wes Huff gets up here and his eyes are all fucking big like he was part of an MK Ultra program? It's because he more than likely might have been part of an MK Ultra program, allegedly. If you don't say allegedly, people will sue the shit out of you. That's number one. Number two is Wes Huff could be a fucking Jesuit, which I'm more inclined to believe, which means he's sent here to confuse the masses. Don't listen to shit Wes Huff says. He's out here talking like he's seen the original fucking letters. Here, listen. Nobody has seen the original letters to nothing, bro. All, mainstream theologians, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. They haven't seen the Marks. They haven't seen the Paul letters. They haven't seen these letters, bro. These are all copies of what they believe to have existed. So don't let these people get up here and tell you, well, the New Testament was written in They don't know. They've never seen. Now, the only reason I'm pushing back on Sterling, and Sterling could be right, but I'm pushing back right now because, first of all, I'm talking about something else. But the only reason I'm pushing back is because you had several events that took place that involves New Testament rhetoric, and that was before 600 AD. Even the Council of Nicaea alone was in 310, so right there. But hold on. Sterling says it all comes from Egyptian mythology. Yes, but no. That's not the common denominator. Good try. But you got to go further back than that, Sterling. So the little details don't really matter. The Egyptians had the same Christ archetype. Couple of things, Sterling. Little details do matter. That's number one. We got time. Nobody's in a rush over here. Huh? I'm going to keep it real with you, Sterling. I don't know if you ever been to this channel. That's what we love to talk about over here. I just really be talking about that shit until I'm tired. Then I might get into some Trump shit. Then I might get into some ghetto shit. You understand? Talk about some drug dealers for a while. That don't usually last long, because they just burnt the fuck out. And then I may talk about space, aliens. So, my point is, we have time for all the little details. That's what we do. We do the little details. You see what I'm going over right now? Because that's the reason people are running around with these wild ideologies. Huh? Do I need to show the cartoon from the Latter-day Saints? Let's go. Yes, Sterling. There you go, Sterling. See how that works? See how that works, Sterling? You took the time to talk about the small, intricate details, and you hit the nail on the head. Nail on the head. You got to go back that far. You got to go back that far, because that's where it starts, and nobody knows that. Nobody wants to hear that. And when you do talk to people about that, what do they say? Oh, that's pseudo. There's nothing pseudo about it. It's pseudo because they hid the fucking information. That's why it's pseudo. Oh, yeah. Let's get this cracking. They said the extended version. Hold on 1 second. It's commercials. I'm trying to wait for the commercials to end. They thought they was going to catch me with the commercials. Never.
To decide their destiny, the head of the Mormon gods called a great heavenly council meeting. Both of Elohim's eldest sons were there, Lucifer and his brother Jesus.
This is crazy. This is when Sterling, when you don't do the when you don't do the small details, you running around like, yo, small details don't matter. This you get funny money shit like this. You understand? You get the stupid shit.
You know the feeling when you realize you've bought
No,
things.
how you trying to do a commercial already, baby girl? We not doing that. We not doing commercial. Y'all just did a commercial, blood. Don't try to take advantage of my show, YouTube. I'm not running free ads for y'all. How y'all running commercials in less than 2 minutes? We just did a commercial, bro. We're not doing none of that.
Are in direct conflict with biblical Christianity. The following piece of animation, based directly on actual Mormon publications, highlights these major doctrinal differences.
Mormonism teaches that trillions of planets scattered throughout the cosmos are ruled by countless gods who once were human like us.
What? What are you talking about? That is crazy. This shit started off wild. So these guys was once human like us. I think you got that. It's the other way around, my man. The gods, they dropped off some seeds on these planets and then left to go to other planets. Anyway, let's keep going.
They say that long ago on one of these planets, to an unidentified god and one of his goddess wives, a spirit child named Elohim was conceived.
Now look, these people, this is a large goddamn organization. They got money, Jack. Latter-day Saints, Jesus Christ, the Mormons, they got money, Jack. All that money, and they out here teaching rhetoric, nonsense. Elohim is not even a singular term, but clearly the author and the narrator does not know Hebrew. They didn't study. This is why you can't just be like, yo, the little details don't matter. Over here, the little details matter. Because you have 1,000 religions today because the little details did not matter. And it was about history. And people just letting things slide and then people forgetting the history, bro. Now I got to be the bad guy in 2025 coming to reteach people. And people like, yo, that ain't correct. Well, I will love to debate you. I think you're going to take an L, to be honest. But we could do it. And I'm not going off of what your religion say. Obviously, you would probably win that, right? What my religion say, no. Let's take I don't even care what your religion say. I'm going off the foundation of your religion. Let's just take it from there. This way we don't have to get into all of that. Because if a house is not built on a sturdy foundation, it's going to sink.
This spirit child was later born to human parents who gave him a physical body. Through obedience to Mormon teaching and death and resurrection, he proved himself worthy and was elevated to godhood as his father before him. Mormons believe that Elohim is their heavenly father and that he lives with his many goddess wives on a planet.
All it is. Just so you could promote polygamy. Yo, bro, if you want more than one wife, you just say that, bro. Just say that. You don't got to deceive all these fucking people. But like I told you in the beginning, the patriarch of Israel is a fucking deceiver anyway. Right? So the guy who brought you Yahweh is a professed fucking deceiver. And you would come to Saladin like I'm the deceiver for pointing out him being a deceiver? This is absurd. Huh? How am I the deceiver? I'm just pointing out the guy who brought you Yahweh is a deceiver. Can you trust somebody that's going to lie to his pops just to snake him out of some riches? Let me go to the chat, my nigga. I don't know. Oh, Sterling, I'm not debating you. Sorry if you took that personal. I just be talking. It'd be to nobody. I wasn't talking to you personally, Sterling. I ain't mean to piss you off. Sterling, yeah, yo, I ain't debating with you, son. I ain't no fool. Nobody. First of all, Sterling, nobody called you a fool, Lord. Easy. Uncle Andy said, DJ, spin that shit. Yeah. Nah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, we got that in common, Sterling. Yeah. I was in the church for years. But truth is truth. You understand? This is crazy though. They got your boy Yahweh out here. Oh God. Nigga Yahweh said, who ain't got no bitches? He's out here. Huh? This is crazy, Lord.
Near a mysterious star called Kola. Here, the God of Mormonism and his wives, through endless celestial sex, produced billions.
Not endless celestial sex. Endless celestial sex is bananas, Lord. Jesus.
Of spirit children. To decide their destiny, the head of the Mormon gods called a great heavenly council meeting. Both of Elohim's eldest sons were there.
Yo, where's the black people in this story, bro? He's out here with the official Ashkenazi Gargamel snout. What kind of biased ass story is this, lad? Mormons? This story is biased, bro. He obviously don't got no barber, and he's out here with the official Gargamel Ashkenazi snout.
Lucifer and his brother Jesus.
Lucifer and his brother Jesus is wild. This is what they was teaching, bro.
A plan was presented to build planet Earth, where the spirit children would be sent to take on mortal bodies and learn good from evil. Lucifer stood and made his bid for becoming savior of this new world. Wanting the glory for himself, he planned to force everyone to become gods. Opposing the idea.
Stop right there. Stop right there. He said something. You guys didn't hear it because I didn't teach it to you yet. Even though Sterling, a newcomer to the show, has pointed out something very significant. He said the Sumerians. Yes, you have to go back there because it does not start with the Egyptians. Contrary to belief, it does not start with the Egyptians. You can't start in the middle. It's like that's what I was saying before. Right? For some reason, Marduk rose as a god in ancient Babylon. You can't start in the middle. So you can't be like, yo, you got to go back to Babylonia. No, you don't. Not if Marduk was their god. You can't. Why? Why am I saying that? Well, I'm saying that because of logic. Marduk is Enki's son. So why would I start with the son? Why would I start with the son? Not like the son, S-U-N. Why would I start with someone's son? If I'm doing research and I'm going back in time, I'm obviously going to start and go back to his father. And I'm going to go back as far as I can to, I can't figure out the last father. This is the last father? Well, now we're starting here. Uncle Andy's leaving us. Uncle Andy, we got another half an hour, bro. You know I do 2-hour shows, Uncle Andy. You gonna catch the Uncle Andy gonna catch the what's the name tomorrow.
Become gods. Opposing the idea, the Mormon...
Uncle Andy gonna catch the replay. Uncle Andy, I'm fresh off a monster, bro. All right, look. Listen to this part right here.
Jesus suggested giving man his freedom of choice, as on other planets. The vote that followed approved giving man his self. He planned to force every...
All right, here's the difference. I'm going to try to speed it up because Uncle Andy said he's getting tired. In this story that he's telling, and they brought up a good point, and we're going to see this later when we research. The guy who they calling the devil, listen to what he say. Listen to what he say in this story. No, man, I'm here. Oh, I thought that's what you meant by the red bathrobe is kicking. I thought it was kicking in. You right, Corey Madison. It got me hallucinating a little bit. Listen to what the cartoons say. It says that Satan wanted to turn everyone into gods. You have to listen. And tonight you're going to be liberated. Tonight you're going to understand. And Sterling will see exactly why I said, oh, you can't start with Egypt. You got to go back. You got to go further back. Because of this story right here. You don't know who Lucifer is until you hear this story. And by happenstance, I just came here by accident. It's not by accident. Like I told you, I was led by the Most High to do this show tonight. So it was obviously for a reason. But watch this.
This new world. Wanting the glory for himself, he planned to force everyone to become gods.
Wanting the glory for himself, Satan planned to make everyone gods. That's I just wanted you to hear that. Now, look what he says about Jesus. So now that you know, he's saying that the devil wanted everybody to become gods. And what is he going to say about Jesus?
Opposing the idea, the Mormon Jesus suggested giving man his freedom of choice, as on other planets.
So it was the opposite. And Jesus kind of looked like arrogant and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is you smiling about, bro? Like, Why is the devil tight in this joint? Like, yo, I want to make everybody gods. Jesus is like, yo, bro, I don't really give a fuck what you talk about. You understand? Like, I don't really care. I got some chicks up the way. Whatever y'all do, look, that's exactly how
he
Jesus
planned to
goes.
force everyone to become gods.
Make everybody.
Opposing the idea,
I don't give
the
a
Mormon
shit.
Jesus suggested
Somebody got
giving
some
man
bud?
his freedom of choice, as on other planets. The vote that followed approved the proposal of the Mormon Jesus, who would become savior of the planet Earth. Enraged, Lucifer cunningly convinced 1/3 of the spirits destined for Earth to fight with him in revolt.
This story is fucking crazy. And still, no black people in Mormons. Y'all be on that bullshit, bro. I would have never did a cartoon like this and left all white people out. Come on, Mormons. Come on, bro. What y'all doing? That's crazy. Now, just remember that I told you and it shows you that in that particular story, what they call him? The devil? Did they call him the devil? Either way, the devil in that story. He wanted to make everybody gods. It is a significant part of the story of where we get Lucifer. Lucifer, son of the morning, I'm gonna chase you out of her. Okay, let's get back into this King Sargon and this stolen goddamn story. Remember when I used to tell you guys that the Bible was plagiarized and you thought I was bullshitting? Right? You thought I was just being mean? And it turns out none of the stories were original. And then they had the nerve to call, when we finally rediscovered the history of Samaria, and all of the logical things started to fall in place, then they had the nerve to say that these things were pseudo, because that's not what mainstream teaches. Well, I guess mainstream wouldn't teach it, and I guess you would say pseudo, because you would have to rewrite everything. Now, how's that going to work out? Right? Everything is set in stone. We got all these religions making exempt money, giving money under the table to the senators and whoever else. Now, if membership falls, how are these people going to get their money? Huh? If membership falls, how are they going to put control on everybody and scare you into doing shit? So they got to keep up the lie. They got to keep up the farce. Now, the story of Moses, like I told you before, is King Sargon's story. The Moses story shares similarities with Sargon of Akkad, with the birth legend, both involving a baby and a baby. But the whole thing is, King Sargon's story is 1,000 years older than the Hebraic religion. So, but who would know that story? Obviously, royalty from Egypt. But it was 1,000 years ago. So maybe Amenhotep IV gets to Canaan, right? He has to fit in. Maybe he sees a use for the Hebrew people, and he's like, yo, like, we can form a relationship. Y'all some wild vigilantes. Like, I can use you for this new plan I got. And they come up with these wild stories where they start taking shit from earlier civilizations. Point in case, right off the rip, In the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. First verse of the first book. We have two different deities right off the rip, but you're not going to see it or hear it unless you know what you're listening to. Chances are you don't know what you're listening to because no one's ever taught you. Unless you had the history of who? You got it, ladies and gentlemen. The history of the Sumerians. Let's get into this. Now, how do we want to word this? Let's do this. Grok will let me get like 15 minutes of some talking in here. Let's see if I could just talk to this bad boy. Hey, I got a question. Or actually, I got a command. Can you tell my audience about Enlil, who he was, and also tell them about Enki and who he was? Go. Huh. They might not do it. So this is, like I said, this is the first time using Grok. But
Hey, no pressure. Just say what you need. What's up?
who was Enlil?
Enlil. Big shot in ancient Mesopotamia. Basically the god of wind, storms, and authority. He was the king of the gods, son of Anu, and ruled from Nippur. Think divine CEO, deciding fates, handing out laws, but also super strict. He could unleash floods or banish people, like kicking humans out of Eden in Sumerian myths. His name means Lord of the Air. If you want more on his wild stories, hit me up.
First of all, I just want the short answer, man. You're doing too much.
Enlil, wind god, king of Mesopotamian gods, ruled fates from Nippur.
Thank you. Who was Enki?
Enki, god of water, wisdom, and mischief in Sumerian myth. He's the clever trickster who creates humans, invents stuff, and saves the world from floods, like the anti-Enlil, lives in the watery Absu.
So one is the god of the sky and one is the god of the earth and below?
Not quite. Enlil rules the sky and air, yeah, but Enki's more about fresh water, underground springs, and clever creation down below. Think sky boss versus watery wise guy.
What about the earth?
Closer. Enlil's the sky and atmosphere. Enki's not earth. He's fresh water, underground, and craftiness. Earth itself, that'd be Ninhursag.
So Enlil is the god of the sky and Enki is the god of under the earth? Underground?
Yeah, kinda. Enlil's sky, air, storms, total authority up top. Enki's underground freshwater, the Abzu, and brains. Not earth exactly, more like hidden depths.
Yep, I got it.
Cool.
You mentioned Ninhursag. Didn't Enki and Ninhursag create human beings?
Yes, exactly. In one big myth, Enki and Ninhursag team up at the clay pit to mold the first humans, mixing blood from a sacrifice god with dirt. She's the mother goddess angle, shaping bodies. He's the idea guy, breathing smarts into us. classic tag team origin story.
All right. Genesis, first chapter, 26th verse says, I'll get back to the first verse in a second. Genesis, first chapter, 26th verse says, and the Elohim said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish in the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now, Genesis 1 says, in the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. It is so Enlil is a sky god. He's a sky god. You're going to have some sources say that Enki was in charge of, he was Lord of the earth. But for certain things, it was really tricky. They were to work together. These two sons of who? These were the two sons of Anu. These were the two sons of Anu. Enki and Enlil. So right off the first verse, you see they talking about the heaven and earth, and there was two brothers who was in charge of two different facets of reality down here. However, I'm about to unmute Grok and we'll have another conversation. Enlil feels like, let's see. Why does Enlil feel like his brother tricked him?
In the oldest story, the flood, Enlil decides humans are too noisy, wipes us out with water. But Enki, sneaky as ever, warns Ziusudra, Noah's grandpa, to build a boat. They both survive. Everyone repopulates. Enlil's furious. That's my thunder, bro. You just undermine me. It's like the boss ordering layoffs. Then HR leaks the memo. Enki's all, relax. We need workers. And Enlil ends up blessing them anyway. Classic sibling beef.
Is Enki compared to Prometheus and as like the light bringer?
Yeah, spot on. Enki's often compared to Prometheus as a light-bringer figure. Both are clever, rebellious types who help humans against divine orders. Enki sneaks knowledge and survival tips, like in the flood myth, while Prometheus steals fire for mankind, pissing off Zeus. Both get heat for it too. Enlil's annoyed at Enki's meddling, just like Zeus punishes Prometheus with the eagle. They're basically the sneaky uncles giving humans the cheat codes.
What about the ancient symbology of the snake? Does it have any connection to knowledge and wisdom?
Absolutely. Snakes scream wisdom in ancient symbology. Think Enki himself, often linked to serpents in Mesopotamian art, representing hidden knowledge and water's life-giving flow. Snake shedding skin, reborn, renewal, enlightenment. In Greek myth, the serpent in the Garden of Eden parallels Prometheus's fire. Both gift forbidden wisdom, but at a cost. Hermes is Caduceus, two snakes on a staff, divine messenger, healing, insight. Even in Indian lore, Kundalini, a snake coiled at your spine, uncoiling for spiritual awakening. Snakes slither through duality, wise but dangerous. Enki's vibe fits perfectly. Clever, underground truth teller. Want specifics on a culture?
Nope.
Fair enough.
Right now, I would like to check the chat. Let's see what time we got. We only got like 13 minutes left. All of this, and I really didn't get to what I really, really wanted to get to tonight, but it's okay. Let's just check the chat, and we'll probably get there this week. We're going to get there, Boondocks. We're going to get there. Actually, Inky would be considered, and I'm going to tell you why, Lucifer. I'm going to tell you why in a second. But Lucifer is also the morning star. This is the star that shines right before dawn. We'll get there. We'll get there. Michael Will was in the building. And he says, everyone lives. Everyone lives happily ever after. On the contrary, Mike. Enlil does everything in his power. You know what's crazy? We're talking about something thousands of years ago, and these people are still doing the same thing today. The exact same thing that Enlil did, right? Weather machines, flooding places. They sent disease down. People had disease, famine, everything they're doing now to depopulate the earth. Why? Because he said it was too noisy. Yeah, because he said it was too noisy. And they're doing the same thing now. Even though now, Bill Gates just tried to block out the sun. You understand? But that's going to lead me in a whole nother rant about melanin, and I don't want to go down that road tonight. He tried to block out the sun. Well, another night, we'll get into that. There you go, Boondocks. Venus. Michael says, and they'll be doing it in 200 years, and they will be doing it in 2,000 years. You're absolutely right, Mike. They're going to keep doing it. I just asked that I stop getting sent back to this planet, bro. I'm tired. I can barely do this anymore. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. All right. We got like 10 minutes. Let's finish up strong. We're going to continue on with Grok until they just kick us off. I got a time limit, so they will stop me from asking all type of questions. All right. Let's get to Lucifer then. How are we going to ask this? Let me formulate the question in my head so I don't waste our time. First, let's do this. I'm going to type it. What's the definition of Lucifer? Let's start there. This way we don't waste our talking.
Lucifer literally means light bringer. Latin roots, lux, for light, fairy, to carry. In the Bible, it's Isaiah 13:11, a taunt against a fallen Babylonian king, calling him morning star, who drops like dawn itself. Later folks, like church dads, read it as Satan tumbling from heaven. Pop culture amps it, devilish rebel, trickster angel. But originally, just poetic trash talk. Which version you digging into?
Yo, she's doing way too much, bro. She's wild. Huh? You ever had a pretty girl and you thought she was pretty, then you go to talk to her and she's annoying as fuck. You like, yo, I gotta get away from this chick. This chick is obviously on Ritalin. And it's a shame because they be so pretty and it's just like, yo, you are annoying. But never mind her being annoying. Listens to the words that she speaks. Now everyone's out here talking about the devil this and the devil that. First of all, how can Jesus and Lucifer be the morning star? Like, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Jesus and Lucifer are mentioned as being the morning star. It's crazy. But we're going to go with Lucifer first. Him being the light bringer. What is Lucifer known for? He's for being where? In hell, which is underground. Who is the original underground? Let's see who's been listening. Let's see who's been listening. Who is the oldest underground god that we know? Anyone? Anyone? Huh? Sterling. My man. I don't know. I just assume Sterling is a man. Sterling. It's one of those names you could be a girl or a guy. But I think it's a guy. Sterling is correct. Yeah, Boondocks, we didn't get there yet. We did get there, but we passed over it because I had to pass over it to come back. Now, Sterling has it correct. The oldest underground god we know. They didn't let us know. Was Enki. And the sky god was who? Enlil. Sky god being what? Wind, storm. But associated with the wind more than Enki. Enki you're gonna associate with the water and underneath, but the ground. Now, let me give you the Christian version of all of this. In the Christian version of all of this, Adam, which is a Hebrew word for man, and Eve are in the garden talking to a snake. a snake that I'm assuming is not on his belly, but in fact on some type of legs. Why do I say that? Because the snake was cursed to be on his belly and inhale the dust of the ground for the rest of his life. So if that's your curse, then you obviously had to be the opposite of that, and that would be standing up. So you had an upright snake. Let's just say a reptilian man, will you? Macking to Eve. Talking to her. Hey, baby girl, what's good, baby? She don't even know she's butt-ass naked. She don't even get it, right? She probably was thicker than a Christmas ham. You understand? Shit was probably looking right. You got him out here macking. But he wasn't so much macking as he was trying to tell her and give her what? Light. Give her illumination, because that's what we call knowledge, illumination. We want you to see. Once I give you the knowledge, you're going to see what's going on. The snake was actually putting her onto game. Like, yo, I don't think they want you to be like one of the gods. Like, if you eat that, you're going to know what's going on. Like, you're going to know the good and the bad. Like, you're going to... But first of all, like I told you, if you really think about the story, none of this shit makes sense, right? Because why would you put a tree there of good and evil if you really didn't, like, you don't even know if they're going to eat this shit or not. If you knew the end of the story, then you wouldn't even put it there. But you didn't know the end of the story because you're a false god anyway. Yahweh. But you put the tree there of good and evil. Then you shocked and shit. Or is this some type of performance? Like, don't front for me. Yo, don't front for me, Playboy. You understand? Did you know they was going to eat the fruit, or didn't you, bro? I don't got time for your theatrics. Yo, where is Bond? Yo, you? Ooh, you going to the... Yo, you going to be cursed, bro. Fuck that. Like, yo, he was putting on for his city, Yahweh. Why you didn't know none of this shit? Even when he came to look for them, he had wild questions. He had way more questions than he had answers about shit. He didn't know what he was talking. Yo, who you been talking to? Whole lot of shit was going down. Nonetheless, this entire first, I ain't gonna say first 11 chapters, but a lot of it was taken from older civilizations, right? So we won't say entire. Maybe some of it was inspired. Some of it was straight up hijacked from older civilizations. But the association of Enlil and Enki has always been there. So going back to what the Dread Matthew said at the beginning of the show, he said Jah has always been there. Yeah, but it depends on who you calling Jah. Did you know that your Jah was inspired by Enlil? Did you know that? And let's be clear. Yahweh and Jesus are nothing alike. Yahweh and Jesus are nothing fucking alike. Jesus said, forgive 77 times 7. So is that going to bring you to 490? Probably. So Jesus is out here telling you, yo, just forgive. What? Forgive who? You know how many Catholic boys ain't trying to hear that shit? They want their get back, bro. Catholic boys ain't trying to hear all that forgive me shit. He turned my other cheeks. Fuck you talking about turn the other cheek. This nigga was turning cheeks out in that fucking church. Now, there's somebody somewhere who can't fucking sleep. His whole life is fucked up because people was out here doing silly shit in the church they shouldn't have been doing. And Jesus is telling you to forgive. I'm telling you different. I don't know the laws and all that, so I can't tell you exactly what to do. But I'm going to tell you about a great man called Luigi Maglione or something like that. You understand? You look him up in history, and then you tell me what you want to do. Huh? Because he's done worse for less, playboy. Huh? Luigi out here, he like, oh word? Oh word? I can't surf no more? Say less. Say less. No. I'll be right back. And trust me, if Luigi said he's coming back, he's coming back. Coming back with the 4-5. Not to play games with you. To maim you. War God, peace God. Facts. So, well, we got 2 minutes. Well, actually, we're over time, so I'm going to spend 5 more minutes. First thing, we got to get to the rest of Venus, right? Because Boondocks is going to have a fit. Boondocks already tight. I ain't really getting to the L shit. Don't worry. We're going. This can't be our last talk on this. And I'm just going to rename this part 1. Because really, I could do like 3 more parts to this shit, to be honest with you. And it deserves 3 more parts. So, let's just focus on this right now. Lucifer literally means light bringer. Light bringer. Light bringer. So, like I said before, you don't know who your God is because you damn sure you don't know who Lucifer is because you don't know who your God is, right? So me asking you before this show, yeah, you know who Lucifer is, and you think it's some fucking devil with horns and all this other shit. You don't really understand. And I'm helping you understand because a lot of the way the world operates is based off of this ancient ideology, the one they don't want you to know about. They taught you Christianity and Islam and in Judaism, and then they practice something totally fucking something different that they thought you would never figure out. But you came over here to my show. I said, yo, you seem cool. I give you the knowledge. You understand? Whoever's not supposed to be on my show is damn sure not going to stick around for 2 hours of my rhetoric, right? So I didn't have to worry about them. They wasn't supposed to be here. This is how I like my shows. Fucking 12 people. I don't know how many is in right now. Yeah, 10 people. That's good. That's exactly how I like my shows. Alright. So, we're going to end this. Hold on. Not yet. No, yet. No, nobody leave yet. We're not ending right now, but we're going to end in like 4 more minutes. But because I want to drill into you that Lucifer is, we don't know, we can find out where the devil came from and all that other stuff, but the one thing that we did learn from my rhetoric tonight is that going back as far as we can, historically, Whew. Let me say that. Going back as far as we can historically, we know that the god of the sky is Enlil, and the god of the underworld and the waters is going to be Enki. And from my knowledge, historically, we cannot go further back than those characters there. Now, can you explain the correlation between Lucifer and the celestial objects?
Lucifer ties right into the morning star, Venus, popping up just before sunrise. The name's Lightbringer, straight from the Latin for that dazzling dawn spark. In the Bible, Isaiah 14:12 calls out Lucifer as a fallen son of the morning, originally mocking a Babylonian king, but later linked to Satan's downfall. Ancient folks saw Venus as a celestial wonder, bright, unpredictable, shifting from evening to morning star, like a rebel in the sky. Some myths even blend it with serpents, or Enki-like wisdom figures, symbolizing enlightenment or deception. It's not a direct correlation to other objects like planets or stars, but Venus rules the Lucifer vibe, beautiful, fleeting, and a bit ominous. Want me to connect it to specific cultures or myths?
So her and her classic Doing Too Much Fashion, she actually she mentioned some stuff I didn't ask her to mention, but she said some myths even blend it with the serpents or Enki. So she did my job for me. I didn't ask her to, but she did it. She tied in the serpent and she tied in Enki to the morning star Venus, which pops up right before sunrise, bringing light, the light bearer. All right, Boondocks. Boondocks is getting tired, and we're gonna end right now anyway. I would like to go on, but let's just stop right here because there's so much that I didn't get to, and I wouldn't have got through it anyway. You understand? We have to get into, like I said, there's a Luciferian conspiracy that I want to go down, but I didn't want to scare people. So the whole thing is, if I explain who Lucifer was, the first show, then when I speak about the Luciferian conspiracy, not only would it make more sense, but you're not triggered, right? And we just want to get rid of any spookism. This is not barbershop talk, as you can see. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to set you up with barbershop talk. I spend hours studying, and I love it. It keeps me sharp. But Monday, let's continue, right? And maybe I can start early. Let's say I'll try to start 6 o'clock on Monday, and this is where we could get in a good 3 hours. Unless sports come on and you guys want to watch that or whatever. But anyway, you'll have the replay. You understand? So that's my show for tonight. Had to do that. You know, I've been on a whole doing stuff in the ghetto, talking about all that other crap, and I've been missing being around the like-minded individuals like myself, you guys, the real light bearers. Now I don't want to start saying light bearers and then you guys, I'm no Lucifer, that's not how I'm associated. You know, at the end of the day, people who watch my show are more than likely positive thinkers, you understand, critical thinkers, I don't think someone's gonna get over here with a demonic vibe and sit here. Some people do now. They sit here and watch me and wait for me to mess up, right? Or say something crazy. You have people waiting for my downfall, but most of those people don't even comment. So for the most part, the people who do comment, who's in the comment section, I'm just going off your vibe, and that's a beautiful vibe for us to get in here and start bouncing ideas off each other. And some of it don't be bouncing, some of it I'm telling you what's going on, and that's because this is what I do. You understand? I can tell you what I know. I can't really tell you what I don't know. And if I don't know it, I'm going to tell you. But if I know it, don't expect me to lay down all the time and just be like, oh yeah, maybe. Sometimes it's not a maybe. This is what it was, and nobody wants to tell you that. But I will tell you that. Yo, Corey Madison is crazy. Yo, no doubt, Sterling. Yo, appreciate you for having appreciate you for being over here, bro. So Boondock says billionaires are heavily into the occult. So Boondocks, that is what my show was supposed to be about. But again, I'm glad I took this route first, because if I get into that and people don't have a strong foundation about what we're talking about, things go all over the place. Now we have a strong, and I could go deeper into this, right? But now we have a better understanding. We did good tonight, actually. We did real good. We got some real chunks of knowledge in there. And anytime I give you knowledge, it's always free. It does not hurt for you to go and look up what I'm saying, right? It doesn't hurt for you to go and look it up yourself, take the notes, write it down. You understand? So you become sharper, because there's a lot to learn. Don't think you're just going to keep it all up here. That we haven't even, it's going to get 2026. We stepping it up. We stepping it up. So I'm about to take the whole channel. We was in the first level of the fraternity, but 2026 we about to step it up a whole notch. All right, so oh yeah. I don't think you missed a lot though, Sterling. I don't think you missed a lot though, but Boondock says that's why you would see occult symbols on corporate logos, magazines, movies, music videos. You see it everywhere. Right? Look at the Walmart symbol. What do you see? The sun. Right? Look at Shell gas station. What do you see? The sun. AOL didn't even try to hide their shit. They just had a pyramid with a fucking whirlwind in the middle. AOL was crazy for that. Right? Amazon got a fucking cock. But we do associate the cock with what? Well, I don't know what you associate it with in your nasty ass mind, but obelisk. And where do they set the obelisk up at? At the capital cities. Right? Bring you back to Heliopolis, which was really On. The Sun City On. For the Anu people. It gets deep. Right? And I understand the cognitive dissonance that a lot of people have because they don't want to give up their identity. So it's kind of like, nah, my whole shit is wrapped around like what I've been into. But then this is why I tell a lot of people, don't even come over here. I'm not joking. Like, I don't want you over here. And I'm going to start talking and you're going to get your feelings hurt. Shit is going to get crazy fast. Because I'm not going to be wrong. That's the fucked up part. You're not gonna prove me wrong. None of that shit, bro. This is not a debate. This is not me and you going back and forth. It feels like that, right? It's not. Don't be deceived. Don't be a deceiver like Jacob. But don't be deceived. Like, no. It sounded like we was having a discussion. It was not a discussion. I was fucking telling you what was what. Alright, y'all. Let me go and then kiss on my wife. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. Whoever did. Whoever left, thank you for being obedient and getting up out of here. Alright? I'll see y'all on Monday. Peace out, everybody. Peace out.